pushing out this wheelbarrow with a little nicely packaged box in the middle of this wheelbarrow. And the security guy asks him, what are you doing? This is not going home. He goes, well, what's in the box? He goes, well, it's just sawdust, company throws it away and I've got a project back home that I'm busy using the sawdust for. So the security guy says to him, well, open it up. So he opens it up and lo and behold, it's sawdust. So he lets him through. The next day, comes again with a wheelbarrow. Security goes, what are you doing? Where are you going? Going home. So what's in the box? Sawdust. Opens the box again. Lo and behold, it's sawdust. So he lets him through. And this goes on for a few days. And by the end of the week, the security guy stops him again and says, listen, I know you're stealing something. I do. My gut tells me. So I'll make a deal with you. If you tell me now what you're stealing, I will not report you and I'll let you carry on stealing. And the guy looks about and he goes, well, I'm stealing the wheelbarrows. and, we're so focused on the small things in life that we really, really forget the bigger picture. What is really there on our creative side? What is really there that we're trying to achieve? I often say nothing fails like success. When you think you know your craft, you're going to fail. Genius is not a product of genetics. Genius is a product of hard work, patience, perseverance, and persistence. And that is really what we do, So I'm a coach. And in the corporate industry, coaching is kind of deemed to be, come on guys, you can do it. Let's get tougher. If the going gets tough, you get rough, okay? If you're battling to keep up, you speed up. Let's set our goals and live a great life. We don't do that kind of coaching. It's more like strength and conditioning coaching. Like 20 years ago, there were no strength and conditioning coaches. The guys went out, they had a beer, and, they went to go play the game, and the better players always won the game. Then winning became really important. So they started asking questions like, what does it take to win? And on the one hand, strategy is really, really important. But if you are not capable of executing the strategy, it doesn't work, right? So with the strength and conditioning coaches in the athletes world, it was about the fittest players. The players that could play the fittest and the best from the starting whistle to the end won the games. That was the idea and strength and conditioning for players. They were the team that were down 3-1 halftime and they were having a barbecue and going, we got this one. Because they knew they could play to the last whistle. But when it comes to this kind of environment and this kind of system, it's not about practice. It's about understanding. We culturally misunderstand how the human mind works. So it reminds me of a story of my friend's grandfather who lived in a farm town, and he bought this new car in the 1950s, but he didn't realize it had more gears. So he was driving around in first gear, took it into the garage, and he said to the garage guy, listen, I'm battling to go up the hills with this car. And the guy at the garage looked and said, but this is this farm town, we don't even have hills. And it turned out that he didn't realize that he could clutch down and change gears. And that's really where we are. When we're in first gear, we all get stuck. We really, really feel like it's very uphill. And we kind of get burnt out on our thinking. And we think we burnt out on life. We think we burnt out on our dreams. But what we really burnt out on is our thinking. And in first gear, what we try to do is we try to compensate by getting tougher. So we kick down on the pedal, and we try to get this motor to get going, and we burn out the engine. And that's really where it goes, where we kind of burn out our engine because we're so stuck in this first gear and we don't realize we have more gears. And what we tend to do with that is we make the most of our misinformation. So what we do is we shrink our world. We make our world smaller. Even if you got there, you're going like, phew, that was hard work. I'm not going to try this one again. Success is hard work. It's just too difficult. So we shrink our sights and we kind of live in the small world and we go like, I'm good here. Like, oh, that seems nice there. That looks good, but I'm good here. I manage this world. And that is when we get stuck in these gears. So I'm going to talk a little about how we shift these gears. But to begin this, it's about what we spoke about yesterday about the metabolism. So we only have kind of two responses within our neurology. We have what we call the stress response, which is better known as the fight or flight mode. And we get what we call the relaxation response. So let me just game out a scenario. Imagine you're walking in a beautiful rainforest at dawn. You're observing the trees, you're observing the birds and the butterflies. You're in a very relaxed state. You're very chilled out. You're extremely resourceful. You're breathing well. And you're enjoying the moment. There's rivers flowing and there's really good greenery and blue skies and life's really sweet. And you're in relaxation response. At this point, your metabolism is at its best, your creativity is at its best. We are what we call in an alpha state. We can think about the world and we can conquer the world. We can look at the whole universe and we can put it into the pupil of our eyes and know that we're powerful beings. But as we take a corner, there's a hungry, angry lion that hasn't eaten for months. So immediately your stress response comes up. You cannot work with both together. It actually works like a pendulum. You can either work in relaxation response or you can work in stress response. So obviously at that point in time, survival mode kicks in, right? Fight or flight mode kicks in. So you have a few milliseconds before your stress response decides whether you're going to fight this one or you're going to flight. So it tells you through conditioning and understanding you very well, better than you know it. Your subconscious mind knows you even better than you know you. It says to you, look, I don't think we're going to fight this lion anymore. Not that we can outrun it, but we stand a better chance if we start running. You know, we might just find a trench or a tree that we could climb. Or maybe some hunters will go by, and maybe they can shoot the lion. So immediately you start flighting. And as you're flighting, the subconscious mind, we have what we call the reticular activation system, which is our climate control, our automatic pilot that is built within us, that has used the measurement of all our experiences and how we responded. A lot of athletes will tell you that if you're jogging and you get to a certain point when you get really tired and you feel you can't go no more, and if you just go, even if you're jumping, if you just go beyond that moment, you could probably jump for another hour or run for another 20 Ks without feeling it. And that is where we override this reticular activation system, this climate control. You know, back in South Africa, we have the Comrades Marathon, which is about 73 Ks. And for 11 years in a row, there was a guy called Bruce Fordyce who set the record and won it for 11 years in a row. And his best time was 7 hours and 11 minutes. And all the other bars, prior and after him, succeeding him, were set to getting as close to Bruce as he could. This year, last year, some guy who's never, ran the marathon before, no formal training, comes and runs it down in 4.5 hours. And this sounds virtually impossible. But the reason he did that was he did not compare himself to a bar. He did not set a standard as to what he should measure himself by. He ran to the best of his ability. And suddenly now there's a new bar set. Like a world record is only a world record until somebody comes and breaks it. Okay, so we're setting the stress response. And we're running. And what the subconscious mind does, it takes all the energy, it shuts down all other bodily functions. So your digestive system is now shut down. Your creative intelligence is shut down. Your ability to make big decisions is shut down. Your ability to laugh and have fun is shut down. It takes this energy, it takes all this neurology and neurocells, and it pushes it to the muscles you need to run as fast as you can. Essentially, it's what we call adrenaline. So you're running in this mode, and you're actually keeping up, abreast of this line, and you're thinking, wow, this is good, I'm doing well. And I come running next to you, and I go, hey, how you doing, man? And you're like, okay, dude, I'm good. I'm under a little bit of pressure right now, but I'm okay. And like, would you like to coach with me? Have you heard of NLP? Would you like to do like a new deal on our banking solution that we have right now? And you're like, dude, I can't do this right now. I'm busy. And if you're selling life insurance and you could talk me up now, maybe. but otherwise, I'm not, And we kind of live in that mode. With all the stresses we have in our world today, with all the challenges, with all the pressure, with everything we're trying to achieve today, we kind of get stuck in the fight or flight mode. And when we're in this mode, we're really not resourceful. Our metabolism, our creativity, our ability to perform at its peak is all kind of squished out because we're living with this lion chasing us. And then I'm running next to you and I say to you, but hey, there's no lion. Why are you running? Nowadays, there's a few. There's a whole lot of them coming from me now. And like, dude, there's no lines. And the moment you can step out of this stress mode, stress response, fight or flight, life becomes extremely effortless. You'll find that it's more fluid and less daunting. You find that your metabolism works better. Because in that mode, where most of us live today, even if you eat or look at an apple, you're going to pick up weight. But when you're in the relaxation mode, you can have a bar of chocolates and chocolate cake and 2 liters of Coke, and your body's going to metabolize it because the relaxation response is now fully active. And of course, one of the ways to get into this mode is real deep breathing, and I think we did that the last time. So I'm sure you guys are all breathing, but deep aha breaths, real mantras, because when we breathe, we bring our mind back to our body. We have trillions of cells within our neurology. It started with hundreds of millions, and then went to billions. I don't know who measured and counted, and now it's gone to trillions, and whatever that may be. We just know that we have lots of cells within our body. And in order to keep these cells oxygenated, to keep them optimal, we really just need to breathe really deeply. And it's effortless, and it's free. And we could do it while we're working. We could do it while we're driving. We could do it while we're gymming. We could do it while we're present. We could do it while we're relaxing watching a movie. While we're on the plane. You guys are all on the plane all the time. It's effortless, and it's really easy to do. So we're all breathing, right? So I'm going to have to tell you guys to breathe, deep breathing. And I have a little mantra, and that mantra is, I take a deep breath in. And often I find all these gurus on YouTube, and they tell you to breathe in really deeply, and none of them ever tell you to breathe out, And somewhere along the line, you pass out. Like, dude, I didn't realize you have to breathe out too, So you just breathe in and say, every day, in every way, I get even better and better. And you breathe out. And that's just a nice mantra. And you can do this as much as you can. You kind of get yourself out of stress response. You get yourself into relaxation response. That's already shifting gears, bringing your mind back to your body and oxygenating. Scientists say that if your brain is dehydrated by 10%, it only functions at a level of 50%. And then, of course, hydration for the brain is oxygenation. It's not water or beer. It's the other way around. and essentially, just breathing kind of gets the blood flowing through the frontal lobes and really gets your body really resourceful. Okay, I want to do something on the flip chart. That's right. I was at a conference about a few months ago, and I saw this picture, right? So it held no context for me initially, but eventually I kind of got it, all right? So there was a guy here, and there was another guy over there. They all worked for Qarar. And then they had this little halo. And then they had